Now, it is a subject that many students find difficult and sometimes even hate, and it sometimes involves both numbers and letters. And let's not even talk about formula. I don't know why people are afraid of this. I love this stuff. Anyway, it's not chemistry. The subject in question is mathematics, and at the CXC CSEC, that's the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate level, that's what we're talking about. So today we introduce you to a math teacher / tutor, who not only knows the subject inside and out, but opens minds that initially would have been closed to mathematics. We welcome math tutor Paul Gray and his students, Victoria Seetahal and Kaylieyonna Robin, to Good Morning SKN to discuss this delightful subject, right, that everybody here loves. Welcome to Good Morning SKN, guys.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so Mr. Gray, let's talk about your love of mathematics, right? When did that begin? And why did you decide to teach it?
Well, at a young age, that was my favorite subject. I think I owe my love to maths on my mother. At an early age, I was good at maths, but I remember she sending me extra class because I wasn't behaving. So Mr. Seetahal kind of expanded my mind. Okay. So I was going extra classes for the majority of my school life. So.
Well, that's great. I mean, I know you're a great teacher. I know that, honestly, so let's go.
Thank you.
Okay, so is it an easy job preparing extra classes students?
Say it again?
Is it an easy job to prepare the extra classes for the students?
No.
Okay.
Especially in school and out of school is much different. The timeline is almost constrained to a year. Okay. So you got to rely on the children to do essentially more homework. Okay. So it's hard to master topics. So it's like you introduce topics and then you ask them to master it at home and you check. But it's much more difficult.
Okay. Does it work better for you if you have, for instance, students that you teach in school or that go through the program at your school where you teach, and then those who come to your extra class, if they're the same?
Repeat that question again.
If you have a student who you teach at school, or at least follows the curriculum at the school that you teach,
yes,
and then they come to your extra class for additional help, does that work easier for you and them?
Of course, but not all the time you're blessed with that situation, you know, because they do have adults as well who I teach, and some of them, you know, when last the open maths book, so it's real. It's difficult. It's challenging, but it's fun. It's fun.
You hear that, right? It's fun.
They look like no. So, ladies, my question is for both of you. You can take turns answering it. Well, Victoria, I'll start with you. There are lots of other maths tutors in St. Kitts. Why did you choose Mr. Gray?
Okay, I chose Mr. Gray because he was our maths teacher in school, and most people say he's the best, so I went to him for my help.
Oh, okay. And Kaylieyonna, what about you?
I chose Mr. Gray because my sister did it with him, and she said he's really good and he can help you understand what you don't understand.
And is that the case?
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. So Mr. Gray comes highly recommended.
Yes.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff.
I said that earlier.
I'm just, we just have to make sure, you know.
So I want to talk a little bit more with you, Victoria and Kaylieyonna, about your experiences with mathematics. Mr. Gray said that you seemingly had less time in your extra classes to master the subjects, etc. So what was your experience? Did you feel rushed? Was it okay? Were there things that you had to go over more than once to get it? And where did Mr. Gray fit into that?
Well, yes, he had some difficult topics that I could not master on time. But Mr. Gray, it was easier with him then. So it gave me, it was easier with him to understand, so I could have mastered it easier with him then.
Okay, that I understand. Kaylieyonna? Ooh, thinking question.
Okay. The topics that most of them was difficult for me because I didn't do some of them as yet. And doing them with Mr. Gray is how he teach us we understand because he give us simple ways to understand them. And what you don't understand in class, he makes sure he give you worksheets, so you go home, you practice, and any questions, you come back and you ask him.
Okay, awesome.
That is so sweet. That is so sweet. So, Mr. Gray, you did mention that you teach mature students as well, who, for whatever reason, may not have taken maths recently or have taken maths and failed. Because I did maths twice. I'm proud of that because maths is very hard. So how do you deal with stuff like that?
Sad to say, it's easier with adults. Adults are more, they're more devoted, the more willing to do homework. Now, right? They have a mature mind and a greater understanding of life and the importance of maths. So, like homework, I don't have to check adult homework, more so the kids.
Okay.
And for Kaylieyonna and Victoria, one is third form, one is fourth form. So they would miss topics as they didn't reach yet. So it was kind of difficult to teach them fifth form stuff in fourth and third.
So they're ahead then?
Yes.
Oh, so that means we are looking at happening distinctions when you guys get to
no pressure. No pressure at all.
I'm just saying, since they're ahead.
Pass or fail, they're in a better position.
Good stuff.
If they try again, they're in a much stronger position. So I like to tell people that, how should I say, there's no negative thing in doing it early. If you fail, you're in a better position to try again. If you pass, people focus on other subjects. So there's no negative.
Good stuff.
Well, that's obviously true. I want to know from each of you, and let's start with you, Victoria. What was the most difficult topic for you to prepare?
Most difficult topic was circle theorem.
Circle theorems?
Yes.
Why do you think that was? What about it was difficult?
Well, it had a lot of angles you had to find in the circle. And
there were a lot of theorems, weren't there?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Kaylieyonna,
let's talk about it.
Circle theorem was also one of my hardest because me and all them things in the circle and trying to figure them out to the different laws and.
Oh, wow, it's a lot.
You appreciate how cool it is, though, because you don't have to take a protractor and measure, right? You can actually figure it out. So it's practical. Although a lot of people say it isn't. I'm just putting it out there.
So, Mr. Gray, I want to know, during COVID, did you have to go online to do your extra classes or did you still do them in person?
Yes. Well, how should I say? Coming on to the ending, we had already finished the paper 2 syllabus.
Okay.
So most of it was just practicing multiple choice online, which is a lot easier than doing them structured questions.
Okay.
So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad at all.
All right, so we want to ask you now, Mr. Gray, about, sounds weird calling you Mr. Gray. I never had Mr. to your name, so always Gray or Paul. But anyway, Mr. Gray,
yes,
today's purposes. For the secondary school students who are going to take the math exam in January, do you have any tips?
January. Well, if you're doing it in January, you will have to do a paper 3. So I wouldn't advise January.
Is the paper 3 an SBA of some sort?
Paper 3 is a substitute for the SBA. So it's like a short paper 2.
Okay.
So I would advise you do it in June. And if you fail, you could do the repeat in January. I don't think people should be, how should I say, the first exam, the first approach shouldn't be January. And then for St. Kitts, the distractions with carnival is awful.
Not recommended.
And it's like Juve morning usually will be the exam. So it's not a good time to do an exam. For St. Kitts, at least.
All right, any other tips that you have? Top 5 study tips in general?
Yes. The first, I would advise them to study the formula sheet. Many people going to an exam don't know the formulas that have provided for them. So if you know the formula sheet, you know what to learn, and you know what you don't have to learn. And you'll be familiar with it. So when you're doing the exam, you could flip to the page and you know exactly where to find it. 2, invest in a smart calculator. People don't understand that calculator is like a language. Like, how should I say it? Not every scientific calculator is smart. They got user-friendly ones. They got real good ones. And people wait until exam day to buy a calculator, and then you walk in and you know how to use it.
Problems.
So you have to buy it in advance, practice, be familiar with it, and be ready for the exam. Algebra. Algebra. People, you see a cringe just now. Algebra. Algebra is for CSEC. is the cornerstone of CSEC. Algebra is in every single topic. Algebra is in matrices. Algebra is in circle theorem. Algebra is in every topic, no matter. So to be bad at algebra, it affects everything. It bleeds through. So when you're really studying, master algebra, and it will make every other topic easier. And for every other subject, a study schedule is enough. I tell my students, having classes twice a week is not enough. You have to practice daily, even add an extra day on your own. You know, practice the stuff you didn't get fully in class. Master it at home. You got to do stuff on your own. And lastly, the beauty of modern, rather than when I was in school. So many past papers are out there, multiple choice and structured. You could just sign on, search. You could look up papers on YouTube. They need to practice and sit and write an exam and mark it themselves. And especially in the multiple choice. She said, bring back so many repeat questions. Is very important to practice them, learn them, and be in a better position for your exam. So that's my 5.
If you notice, I made a note of the 5.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
Look at you.
So you never know, I might just want to do math again. So students, do you do some or most of those examples that Mr. Gray just listed? Okay. So when are you planning, Victoria, to maybe sit the CSEC?
Just did.
Oh, they just did?
Yeah, both of them.
Oh, okay.
Both of them.
Oh.
And they did it early. One in 3rd, one in 4th.
Okay.
They did it
So
early.
they have chances, as you said.
Yes, a very strong
Good stuff.
chance. Very, very strong chance. I expect
Okay.
positive results.
Me too. So when those results come in, you ladies have to inform us here at Studio 327, right? Good stuff.
All right. No pressure, though.
None at all.
All right. So we have an activity. You've prepared an activity for us. I think that this is utterly unfair. I don't even think that I should be here. I think that you ladies should be on the other side of Hortensia computing. But anyway, I'm going to take part in it anyway. So math exercises. Why don't you tell us how it works?
Math.
The exercise. What was the format for it? You're just going to read the question and we have to...
I will read the multiple choice questions and hope you have the answers.
Fair enough.
Looks at me. Oh,
Fair enough.
Poor me.
We'll do a couple of several. Number 1, what is 40? What percentage of 40 is 8? What percentage of 40 is 8?
20%.
Yes. I didn't
Says
even
the
read the options. We'll go to the next.
Team J, y'all. Vote for Jamie.
0.45 written as a common fraction in its simplest form. 0.45 written as a common fraction in its simplest form.
9/20.
Excellent.
You go, guy. Team Jamie, I beg of you. Team Jamie's gonna win.
Should I stop talking now? I said this was not going to be fair.
No.
Did you not hear me, ladies, say that this was not going to be fair? Okay. We're not.
What is the value of the digit 2 in the number 48.621? What is the value of the digit 2 in the number 48.621?
I'm going to let him read the options, Coach Etsy.
A.
Make it easier for you?
2 over 100, which is 2 hundredths. B, 2 over 10, which is 2/10. C, 2. D, 200.
Jamie, you want to take that?
Oh boy, here we go. I could have answered it before. 200ths.
200.
I thought so. I should have said it. Because I'm looking at the placements.
Is this fair? Is this fair? Should I stop the pain now? It's not fair.
I'll ask the last one. The largest prime number that is less than 100 is A, 91, B, 93, C, 97, D, 99.
99?
97.
Ooh,
97.
see, terrible. I told you.
97.
Oh no.
We go back to 99.
I tell you, I need to go back to maths class.
So Cortenza, you realize that this was the section where you got schooled today
Oh my God.
by Mr. Gray. All right, fair enough. We know what we have to do.